You have some people that became leaders and they are aware already of what it takes. Quickly they can hit the ground running, not like some people. And so, today, we want to understand one of the things crucial about leadership, and I call it goodness. So I'll be talking about goodness today in the next 10-15 minutes. And I term it, I say goodness is in you. Goodness is in every one of us. Today, we have a body to deliver goodness. I want to quickly read this. I say our ever-changing global environment in the last few decades has showcased a display of increasing lack, breakdown of law and order, terrorism, brutality of all forms, moral decadence, growing evil and evil tendencies across nations and races, and disregard for goodness. The allowance, indifference, and cultivation of that which is wrong, and has given preponderance to more evil tendency. What I'm saying here is that in our world today, we have seen more evil and more evil and more evil. And we are wondering, how did we get here? And we see that we have one tool to overcome the evil that we see in our environment, and that is goodness. I had an experience about some years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. I came out of my office and I was going home. It was a night preceding a festival in Nigeria. And right there as I was driving, some guys came this way and they robbed me. They opened my door, carted away my phones and some other belongings. We are in the traffic on the popular Abeokuta way. And the funny thing is that there are people that are looking at them. Nobody shouted, nobody hinted me, nobody ran after them. Everybody was just looking. And it was like, it's all normal for somebody to open your door in the traffic, cut away your properties. Looks so normal to people and no one to help. I remember in those days when I was younger and I used to hear about Lagos. It wasn't like that. So that is the kind of world that we have found ourselves. Breakdown of law and order. The usual things that used to be abnormal has now become normal. After all, when we don't want to say they are normal, we say we're not so bad, they are not so bad. That's the kind of world that we have found ourselves. We have seen that the attempts to right the wrongs, the endeavors to do the needful, to be helpful, to be considerate, are now being considered as wrongdoings, dullness, cowardice. And what do I mean by that? At any point in time, you try to do something right. You begin to see some perspective that will be telling you that, well, that is not necessary. You are going too far. For example, I had another experience about maybe about 13 or 14 years ago. I came out of a particular school, University of Ibadan. Just at the gate of the school, I saw a lady standing, well dressed, with a briefcase. Okay, she was trying to go somewhere and she waved me down, so I parked. So this lady got into my car. How are you, madam? Good afternoon, good evening. This. Where are you going? I'm going towards that side. Okay, I'm going to Samanda, so we drove down. Just before we got to Samanda, some boys came, stopped my car, and dragged that newswoman and collected her briefcase and phone. And it became a very horrible sight. So what did we do? I said, okay, madam, you know what? Let's drive to the next police station. This is the police station. Let's report this case. They will be able to trace these boys. So we drove to the police station. When we got there, we came down. They took the statement of the woman. The woman happened to be a barrister. And after then, the police at the counter said, are we sure that this man is not the one that organized that attack? And so, before you know it, I was detained. Before you know it, in a few minutes' time, I was already in their, should I say, custody, not cell anyway. Now, those are the kind of attempts to do right. And before you know it, it is seen or it is turned as something that is not necessary. Why do you have to do that? And so after then, somebody will feel like, okay, so why do you have to give somebody a lift? Why do you have to help? Why do you have to help the needful? And that's the kind of things that we do today, that we see today. Irrespective of all that, we consider it. Is it still right to do good? And of course, I will say yes, it is right to do good. That's a personal experience. Let me cite a corporate experience. We went to some ID camps, and we said, internally displaced camps, and we said that, okay, we want to offer you some foodstuffs. And it was a hell of rigorously to get foodstuffs to help people in IDP. After so much problem, after so much difficulties, they received these foodstuffs from us. These foodstuffs are produce of our own company. And before we know it, a week, 2 weeks after, we found these same foodstuffs in the marketplace being sold at a very cheaper price. Now, you ask yourself, is it still good to do good? And of course, my answer is still yes. Ladies and gentlemen, our world needs emotional, spiritual, political, and social healing, and more of goodness is required to take place. Much of goodness is needed to carry out our services to humanity. Now, I will say, one of the definitions of goodness, say goodness is the right environment created, nurtured, developed for conveyance of right services. Today we are bringing a president. He has a lot of services he wants to offer to the community. In what environment? In an environment of goodness or in an environment of wickedness? Will the goodness in the environment allow him to perform and to deliver? That is the question before us and which we must answer. In that definition, we mentioned an environment created, nurtured, developed. And that tells us that it is not normal or that it is not easy to create an environment of goodness. It has to be created, it has to be nurtured, it has to be developed. That means one way or the other these days, goodness is becoming a second nature to us. It's not something that jumps on us. It's not something that is easily that we can just walk into. And so, you discover that goodness comes from a deep thinking act. You think about it the first time, you think about it the second, the third, and the fourth time before you decide to go the right way. Goodness in a man is not mere passive quality, but deliberate preference for right to wrong. The firm and persistent resistance of all moral evil and the choice of moral good. Today, ladies and gentlemen, goodness is wanted. And that goodness that is wanted is in you and is in me. This world will become a lot better if we all bring out the goodness in us. Goodness is required in promoting peace, fighting epidemics, provision of amenities, providing support to the women and children, supporting education, and growing local economies. I know these are focuses for Rotary Club in Nigeria. Goodness is required in self-leadership, it's required in family life, in community, in social leadership, in public and private governance. Our principles, policy, processes, lifestyle, uplifting or suppressing, we need to ask ourselves that question. How objective are we in making our decisions? Ladies and gentlemen, in climbing the ladders of leadership, I've discovered certain things that are very weighty in leadership. I've said that the issues of fairness, justice, equity is very crucial. They are very weighty. And I ask myself, how will I be thorough? How do I do justice in this framework? There is a particular one of our highly practiced religion in Nigeria today is Islam. Islam allows you to marry more than one wife. with a clause that you are going to be fair. You are going to, there is going to be equity in your treatment of everyone that you married. But these days you see people trying to jack back even from doing that. Why? Because how do I maintain fairness among everybody, among all of them? And when I look at some other scripture, you see that even God take very crucial the issue of fairness. How can I be fair? How can I be just? How can I be discerning in taking my decision? Are we significant to the lives of the poor, the less privileged, the weak among us? Are we ready to serve or to be served? Gentlemen, I say that goodness is in you. I have 5 minutes more and I begin to round up. Goodness, I want to say, what does it require to be good? Said goodness requires us to be kind, to be helpful. It requires us to be thoughtful, to be sensitive, to be considerable. To the elderly, to our parents, to our community. Goodness requires us to be fair, just, and discerning. It requires us to be ethical, to be objective. It requires us to be faithful to our words, our promises. Dear President, I know you have promises you made, either to yourself or to the flock. Goodness requires that you are faithful to those words. Goodness requires us to be our brother's keeper. Goodness requires us to speak up for justice and for good governance. Goodness requires that our communications are those that are edifying and not the kind of communication that pull people down. We have seen today in our world, either in the corporate world, public world, community, that people go about talking about other people to pull them down. Angela Merkel of Germany, she said that it is much more better to talk to one another than to talk about one another. Are we talking about one another or we are talking to one another? When we talk to one another, that is goodness. I'll try to round up by mentioning something about the 4-way test of the Rotary Club International. And it has been recited here today. It said the 4-way test. Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? This summarizes what I will call goodness. For everything that we think, for everything that we do, we ask ourselves, is it the truth? Is it fair? Will it be goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Well, I want to say at this point that when this 4-way test was being designed, this model by Abeokuta in 1932, I guess there is a scripture I like so much that comes to his mind. And that scripture says, whatever things are true, whatever things are honorable, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, whatever things are of praiseworthy, think about these things. So, as I round up, I want to encourage everybody. We are in a world that we all know. These are the things that should ponder, that should go on in our mind. Things that are true, things that are honorable, just, pure, lovely, and of good report. And when we galvanize all these things into our thinking, into our actions, we'll be able to deliver goodness at all points in time. Thank you so much, and you're honest.
Initiative, thought-provoking speech, lecture, which I know will be beneficial to all of us. In summary, it goes to show that wherever you go, just try to do good. But when you cannot do good, don't do bad. So, ladies and gentlemen, the program is on. Before we move to the next item on the agenda, I want to quickly call, because the raffle stops have started pouring in, I want to quickly call the 5 and it's time to call to 151. Ticket number 151. Yes, please pick up your item there. 151. 151. Ticket number 151. Going? Okay, all right. My opportunity president. Congratulations. The next ticket 154. 154. Ticket number 154. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, for the first 5 winners, 160. Ticket number 160. 160. Okay, Rotary White. Congratulations for being among the first 5 winners. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the next item, Rotary, I do remember this speech.
I appreciate people that are watching online because of the thing that is going on around the globe at the moment. It's not just until people come in, it's people that we can recognize them. So we have some people watching from UK, from the United States, from Uganda, and we just want to use this opportunity to thank them for joining us. Past Assistant Governor Florence Tinka-Marie, District 29211, Uganda, we recognize you. Rotarian Rosati, District 9211, Rotary Club of Gulu, Uganda, we recognize you as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Oladipo, Bilex, our own personal friends from Atlanta, US, we thank you very much for joining us online. Professor Kasim Momodu from UK, your member of the club, watching from online, we thank you very much for joining us. Rotarian Charity Namangada, Rotary Club of Uganda, thank you for joining us. And finally, I want to recognize those people that are probably supposed to be here physically but couldn't make it due to one reason or the other. They are the immediate family of our opportunity president, my own personal friend, Yemi Oladipo. Thank you very much, Daniel Oladipo and Isaac Oladipo, all the way from Houston, Texas, USA. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the next item on the agenda is the investiture proper. While we are getting ready for that, I want our musician to give us just 2 minutes musical interlude.
Olukayode Oladipo. Opportunity president. Abeokuta mi máa bọ́hùn lẹ́nu kẹ́kẹ́. Adélé Adàgbé. Adiyasumi wa. Rotary Club of Abk. 9110. Ẹ̀kú àyẹ́sí Olukayode, Olukayode ní Oladipo.
We have one our special guest that just walked in majestically. He's a man to be honored. He walked in. He told me not to mention his name, but the man that is going to be decorated as our president today is working somewhere. He has his own business, or he partnered with so many people. One of his great associates, worthy and plays. Once I mention his name, let's appreciate him. That is the MD, Chief Executive of Hybrid Feeds, in person of Dr. Leye Alayode. Please, let's appreciate him. If you look at him, you will think this man is just about 60 years old, but he's over 74. He doesn't want me to mention his name. When the person of Dr. Akibo, let's appreciate him. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we are going to where we've called you to come and say.
My district governor, Abeokuta, the high table, the guest speaker, members of the high table, past president of Rotary Club of Abk, our guests, fellow Rotarians. First of all, I want to give glory to Almighty God.
Let them keep quiet. Please, Sabas, please, do it orderly, please. Please. The noise from the back is getting too much. Thank you.
I want to give glory to Almighty God, the creator of the universe, the omnipotent, the omnipresent, the fourth man in the furnace, for seeing us this far. It is only God that will give the glory. If you could remember, this Rotary year is peculiar in all ramifications. It is a year we prepared a meal of pounded yam with hand washing water by our side. But somehow, toward the end of the third quarter, nature changed everything before our very sight. We planned a district conference for Abeokuta here. We want to marry with our Rotarians physically at Obasanjo Presidential Library venue. But somehow it turned out to be a virtual conference. We planned a Rotary convention for Oladipo. We want to be there physically, but COVID-19 said it's not going to be so. We had a virtual convention for the first time. But here we are today. If you are very conversant with aviation travel, there are three important stages. When you are first taking off, it is very, very dangerous. When you get to the heights for the horizontal travel, everything continues smoothly. Another dangerous portion is when you are landing. Today, we are landing, and my colleague, who is the closest person to my tenure, Rotarian Oladipo, is the one taking over the mantle today. I will not call this a valedictory speech because this man taking over today actually worked 24/7 with me when I was in the office. And in Rotary, you are not successful until you have a successful successor. So the work continues until 30th of June 2021, when this man will be leaving the stage. I, Rotary Abeokuta, I still continue to work for the upliftment of Rotary Club of Abeokuta, the 5th in the district and the 17th in the whole of Nigeria. Thank you.
Sorry. Please, before Abeokuta, but we need money now. No, let him go back and start working. I'm calling for come decisions. Exclusive. Where are you?
Rotary district leaders, opportunity presidents in the house, Rotarians, guests and friends of the family. I want to read the citation of our opportunity president because I'm so glad and happy today for seeing how he has moved thus far. I remember in the year 1998 when he introduced me to the Rotary Club of the Investiture of Abeokuta. And as they say that one good turn deserves another, I was the secretary of this club for 3 years, and at a point I came around and I told him, you don't have no choice, I'm taking you to the Rotary Club of Abeokuta. And I reintroduced him to the Rotary Club of Abeokuta. And now he's my humble and honorable president. Standing before you is Olukayode Oladipo, a Paul Harris Fellow. Rotary Olukayode Oladipo was born in Ibadan on the 13th of August 1976 to late Mr. Stephen Faride Oladipo of Iyalaja's compound, Awe, in Oyo State, and late Mrs. Elizabeth Faride Oladipo ní Shoremekun of Abeokuta in Ijemo, here in Abeokuta State. For his education, Kayode started his educational life at Olukayode Baptist Nursery and Primary School before he later moved to Polytechnic Staff School for his primary school certificate. He proceeded to Methodist Grammar School, Bodija, Ibadan, for his senior secondary certificate in the year 1994. After his secondary education, he wanted to study civil engineering, but as God wants it, or maybe he knows he cannot withstand it, he ended up at the Federal College of Animal Health and Production Technology, More Plantation in Ibadan, for his national diploma in 1997. He thereafter proceeded in 1999 to the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, where he bagged his Bachelor's of Agriculture in Animal Production and Health, and had his National Youth Service assignment in Nasarawa State in 2004, and he served with Nagere Farms. In quest for more knowledge in his choosing career, Kayode, as his fondly called, returned to his alma mater in the year 2016 for his master's program in animal nutrition with specialization in monogastric animals. He is currently admitted back in the same school for his PhD program, FUE. For his work experience, Kayode had his first work experience as a technical field staff at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, known as IITA in Ibadan, after his secondary school and his renewed interest in agriculture was back. He had his industrial attachment at the Animal Clinic, University of Ibadan, and was opportune at the time to work under the renowned animal scientist, late Professor Tewe, who opened up his livestock production skills. In 1997, he joined Shoba the Animal Channel Farms Limited for his 1-year industrial training and was later retained as supervisor of the farm's rearing section, a position he held till he returned to school for his first degree. Immediately on completion of his undergraduate project defense in 2003, he was employed by Shoba the Animal Channel Farms Limited as the manager for the rearing section, a position that he held up to July 2005. layer and broiler farming enterprise which he runs till October 2012 when the impact of global financial crisis affected many businesses. This situation sent him back to the labor market and he seeked employment and got home with Bioorganics Nutrient Systems Limited in October 2012. He was the technical sales executive of this indigenous but world-class nutrition company. It was during this period that he had contact with Investiture, a Belgian and international renowned company that was looking into extending their coast and entering into the Nigerian and West African market for feed additives, and he was made the business development manager for Nigeria and West Africa. The Nigerian office was started in January 2015 from zero and has grown into a multi-million naira business, currently supplying all major feed companies in Nigeria and West African region. You can clap for him if you want to do that. Kayode is a man of many parts. He sits on so many advisory and management teams for other companies and startups presently. He is well-traveled locally and internationally. No wonder we know him as King Global. He's gone for so many trainings and professional events in his area of expertise. He is a registered animal scientist with the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science and a member of American Society of Animal Science. Kayode came in contact with Rotary family about 20 years ago through Rotary and Grace Okotote. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She is the current president of Rotary Club of Greater Nigeria in District 9125. And this was in the year 2000-2001, Rotary year, when Create Awareness, Take Action was the Rotary model. When he was invited to fellowship with Rotary Club of Abk, he was immediately made the club service director in 2000-2001 and the vocational service director as well because of his drive and energetic participation in the club. His love for Rotary was fully ignited mainly through the polio immunization activities all around Lodeda local government during that period. And the joy of going into the hinterland to immunize children was always a thing of joy. It's noteworthy that Nigeria was declared polio-free during this year as a Rotarian president. I believe we need a very good round of applause for this. Kayode joined the Rotary Club of Abeokuta in 2016 through an invitation by Rotary Smith, that's me, whom he invited into the Rotary Club and has served in various committees. He attended so many conventions, first of its kind in Ontario, Canada in 2018. He also attended Rotary International Convention in Hamburg, Germany in 2019. He was fully set for the Rotary Convention in Honolulu, Hawaii, but unfortunately COVID-19 made that fruitless. Kay is a visiting member of the Rotary Club of Abk Southwest Houston in Houston, Texas, USA. Kayode is married to his friend from university days and a classmate, Oladipo. And the union is blessed with Daniel Oladipo and Isaac Oladipo. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our opportunity president, the man that is known as King Global all over, for induction as the president of the Rotary Club of Abk. A big round of applause for him, please. If you want to be a good people, join the Rotary. If you want to be a good service, join the Rotary. Oh, join the Rotary. Join the Rotary. Join the Rotary and be a good person. Thank you.
Para la boca, o no, la chenica hueca,
Don't worry. All past presidents should come up here. All past presidents come out. All past presidents. All past presidents come over here, please. Past presidents to come over here, please. Is here waiting. All past presidents to come.
President Lodja. Mo ń pàṣípò yìí